Hey everyone, I want to introduce myself. My name's Elijah McDonald. I'm one of the co-owners here at Cut Above Construction and Design. I want to tell you a little bit more about our custom home building process. Here at Cut Above, we use a method called design build, which is a really cool method where we keep all the design in-house as well as the build, which really helps everything move together as a unit compared to having the traditional route of having an architect or a draftsman and then bringing those plans to a contractor and then moving forward. This just makes things go a whole lot smoother. But as far as that process goes, we have 5 major steps in our process for building your custom home. The very first step is just like our remodeling process, where we want to have you book an introduction call with us. That call is going to be about 10-15 minutes. We're going to learn where you are and the journey of your custom home build. That said, everybody gets to building a custom home a little bit differently. Everybody's journey looks a little bit different and everybody's at a different step. You know, do you have your lot that you're going to build on? Are you still looking for that lot? You know, are you at the very first steps of just discovering what, building a custom home is all about? Or are you basically all the way at the end where you're ready to start your design, ready to start moving forward on that custom home? So that said, we'll find out where you're in the journey, help you to your next step. And then for a lot of you, your next step is going to look like our second step, which is having a consult with you. That consult is about an hour meeting or so, takes place here in our office. During that time, that's when we are going to answer all of your questions, or at least do our best to answer all of your questions at that time. We'll go through some of the high level information of what kind of time frames we should be expecting. What are your high level needs? What are your wants? What are your dreams? What do you hate about your house currently? What do you love about your house currently? And what you want your new custom home to resemble. By the end of that meeting, you will leave here knowing our process, understanding how we would build your custom home, and then also with our design and development proposal. So after we went through the full consult, you're ready to move to that next step, which is step 3, design and development. That's when we'll go ahead and enter into that design and development agreement. So what is the design and development agreement? It's a 2-phased agreement that takes us through right before construction starts. During that design and development, with those 2 phases, phase number 1 is going to be what we call architectural documents. Architectural documents is going to be the really fun part of designing your custom home. We're going to go through different iterations of your floor plans, what your exterior of the home could look like. We really start to dive into the details as well, start giving you 3D renderings. We're going to go through, do a full kitchen design. And then this is also where we start to set ourselves apart from a traditional draftsman or architect, where we're going to actually dive into what your bathroom design could look like, your tile design, and go through and start really honing in on what you want it to look like. Also even go through a full lighting plan, where you want your switches, what kind of lighting, do you want a ceiling fan, all of those items. So then that way, by the time we get to the final step of the architectural documents phase, we are completely ready for what we call your 3D walkthrough. The 3D walkthrough is going to be a meeting here at our office where we take you through your full custom home that's computer generated, a full 3D model. That way you have a very good understanding of what your new home's going to look like, especially being that in a custom home process, we've never built this home. We probably will never build this home ever again. We want to give you that full 3D model. So once we go through that full 3D model, everything's finalized on what your architectural documents look like. That's when I'll go and I'll start putting together what we call a full line itemed budget. The line item budget is going to be a ton of line items because there's a ton of work that goes into a custom home. But then that way, what we do is we take all those final architectural documents, put together a budget completely based on those architectural documents. So then that way, once we present it, everything's based on that tile design we did together, the lighting plan we did together, the kitchen plan. So, and then at that point, once the budget looks good, you're ready to move forward to that second step of design and development, which is called permit ready construction documents. This step's going to go through a little bit smoother. There's a whole lot less decisions for you to make because we've already have the design done. That's when we're doing all of your final engineering. That's when we're doing your foundation engineering, any other structural engineering, going through all your permit applications, submitting things to regional building. So then that way we're ready for that permit. Also at the same time that's happening, we're going to go through all of your final selections, get everything finalized for your plumbing fixtures, your tile selections, all of those really fun items. And then once all of that's done, we'll have one last meeting for design. It's the contract meeting. That's when we'll go through all the full scope of work, the full set of plans with you, and our full contract with you. So then that way, once you sign on to our construction contract, you're completely comfortable, you know what to expect, and you know what you're receiving. So what happens after you sign the construction contract? We used to go straight into construction. That said, COVID-19 has really changed the way the world works, and then also the construction demand. That said, we've had to add one more phase into our process, which is called pre-construction. Pre-construction is going to be the time right after we sign the construction contract. We're going to start putting in all of what we call lead time orders. So for example, like your windows, your doors, your cabinetry, so on and so forth, your trusses even now. Because for example, windows we used to get in about 2 weeks. Well, in today's world, we're having to wait anywhere from 4 to 6 months sometimes for those windows. So that said, we can't go and just start building right away because we'll come to a sudden halt when we run out of those materials. So we're ordering all those materials, letting them arrive, letting them come to our warehouse. Once those are arriving in place, that's when we're actually going to start building. Once we start building, that's where the real fun begins. That's when you get to start seeing your dreams come to life. You get to meet with our lead carpenters. Very often you get to meet with John, our director of building, and then I'll be updating you on your budget through the whole build. So that said, that's our custom home process in a nutshell. Obviously, there's a lot more moving parts to it, and we'll be taking you through the full process, holding your hand through the full process. It's a lot to do, and it's a lot to undertake, but it's so rewarding in the end. So I look forward to talking to you and seeing how we can help with your custom home build.